Are we go for lunch?
Systems check. Episode 10.
Episode 10 of the Garden Shed podcast.
1, 2, 3. Oh, I missed it on the last, but we got the beginning.
Still, cheers.
I got salt.
All right. Well, first, let's just say welcome back to the Garden Shed podcast. This
Number
is
one podcast in the world.
the whole globe, probably in the whole
universe. Oh, multiverse. That's good.
This is episode 10.
10.
Thanks for sticking with us, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the Garden Shed production channel, Garden Shed
GSP
podcast
tonight.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you can find it.
Well, we need to make an announcement real quick for our audio listeners, and we need to update our audio. By the way, we are switching to Acast. So we mentioned this. I don't think last time before that. That doesn't mean anything for YouTube listeners, but it does mean that if you're in the audio version, we are going to be switching to a different platform. So just look up Garden Shed Podcast, GSP, and resubscribe on the new version of the audio.
I recently typed in sexiest men alive. GSP came up as well. So.
Nice. So that's another way you can find us. What do you think of the Blood Orange Cider?
I can't stop drinking it.
It's pretty good, huh?
I freaking like it a lot.
So I recently
6.9%.
hit him with it, 69. Recently started working at Tractor, so we can go over some updates, life updates.
Oh yeah, this cider is brought to you by Tractor Brewing in Albuquerque, New Mexico,
where I'm working now as a bartender. So if anyone wants to come by for a free drink, let me know. It could be like one of those, like, come on down to Tractor Brewing and tell them Eris sent you, except it's me working. So I sent you.
I went down there and sat at the bar, and
it's a cozy little spot. It's
really,
a brewery. So, it's kind of like a bar, but really it's like a brewery. So
it was very friendly. Everybody was just hanging out.
Oh yeah, everyone just like vibes and does their thing. So Blood Orange Cider, that's the like most popular cider there. Honestly, maybe most popular drink in general. So I definitely thought you'd like to try that one.
Where's the chick on here?
We also recently had our birthdays.
Oh, we're old. Yeah.
Well, you're old.
I'm old as fuck.
I'm just getting there.
Let's just say that. But yeah, mine was the February 13th. Yours was the 23rd.
Yeah, 10 days apart. I got my Apple Watch, so now we're Apple Watch bros.
Yeah, we stepped it up. We're into the future now. We use it.
The future is now.
Little Star Trek walkie-talkies.
Oh yeah, we've been
fun.
He literally does it like that. He's like, "Come in, Captain Zaffer." Oh, Siri, hello. Oh, that's your Siri.
Star Trek Command.
Starfleet Command. It's literally telling him.
Yeah, I'll be like, "This is Voyager approaching studio station."
Come in, Voyager. So we already did our gift exchange, but I do have a surprise for Jay tonight. Not technically for the birthday, but for the podcast itself. So we're gonna go ahead and open that.
Oh, my quick little life update. I work at a bank now.
Oh yeah, he just got that job. He was so excited too.
You know when you're like have a job interview and you're sweating bullets for like a week until it happens?
When I felt so bad because your first interview, I don't know if it was there or what bank, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna reschedule and."
Oh yeah, they kept me on the hook, dude.
They'd be doing that.
Now I'm taking their money. No, I'm just earning their money.
So what do we have here, Jay?
Wow, a Misfortune cookie,
as opposed to a fortune cookie.
Pitchicakalickis.
I don't know how to say it either. It's okay.
It's got spooky vibes for sure.
So let's see.
Oh, there's more on here too.
Ideal for Lucky Lukes and Bad Luck Brians, Superwomen and High Flyers, Crybabies and Wussy Wimps, Iron Ladies and Tough Guys. Maybe delicious and crunchy, but they're tough to swallow. Go ahead and try one.
Okay, so we have a basically spooky, unfortunate version of a fortune cookie.
So I think we have different designs. I got like a creepy troll dude. Black and white for our audio listeners.
Mine's like a little devil little guy.
That's cute. I like that.
I love the vibe in the packaging. Okay.
Why would you describe the artwork?
There's way too much sugar, so I can't eat this right now. Artwork is, it looks like Nightmare Before Christmas or like Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah, it does have that. So it's just a fortune cookie in shape. Smells like a fortune cookie. It's black though, so that's cool. We have a fortune inside, or a misfortune, I suppose. Oh no. What did I say?
I got a good one. What do you got?
Expect less, because that's your future.
Oh my god. Mine said, try to get through this week without making anyone cringe.
Okay.
I don't know, man, if I can.
Maybe that's good advice, though. Honestly, you know? I mean, that's not bad advice.
I march to the beat of my own drum. What can I say?
Okay, so a couple things we wanted to go over. Did you get the link for everything, though? While he does that, I wanted to go ahead and do a chapter out of the Tao Te Ching.
Perfect.
So we're going to open the random page. We got 73. So for those of you who don't know, the Tao Te Ching is like an Eastern philosophical book, religious, spiritual, kind of depending on how you want to look at it. Like the book of Taoism. So it's just like nice little bite-sized pieces of philosophy, you know, for everyday life. So this one is, the Tao is always at ease. It overcomes without competing, answers without speaking a word, arrives without being summoned, accomplishes without a plan. Its neat covers the whole universe. And though it meshes are wide, it doesn't let us things slip through. It seems like
You mesh my wad.
Let's break this down. So the Tao is always at ease. I mean, obviously that makes sense, right? You're thinking like an ocean, like it's just kind of resting, right? It overcomes without competing. It's not needing to be competitive. It's just accomplishing what it needs to. Answers without speaking a word. That's interesting. Maybe one of those like actions, or you know. Yeah. But it's also maybe just like it could be a different phrase. It doesn't have to be words specifically. You know, whatever you want to put in there. Arrives without being summoned. Accomplishes without a plan. So it's sort of contradictions in a way, right? It's kind of what a lot of the Tao Te Ching is. It kind of presents a lot of contradictions. But I think that's because it's also explaining that's what like the Tao is, or the universe, right? The way this is the way. Come on, Jay.
The Mandalorian.
This is the way. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. In the last part, its net covers the whole universe. I mean, that's, you know, like a net. Yeah. And though its meshes are wide, it doesn't let a thing slip through.
You get 1,000 billion emails? Because I do.
I have to unsubscribe from a lot of them. Constantly. Facebook was the worst for a while because Facebook would just send me like, you got a like. So-and-so posted something. I was like, oh my God, Facebook already notifies me this. Why are you sending me an email about it?
I have thousands and thousands of emails I just need to delete.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying. I think I have a couple thousand in my main email folder right now. And it's like, I want to just select like delete all, but I feel like there's probably some stuff in there.
There's a lot of important shit.
I know. Okay, so let's see. So we did our Acast announcement. We did our surprise chapter from the Tao Te Ching. Did you have anything on that before we move on?
We'll
move on. This is the way. So I wanted to hit on Russia and China. So I assume you've been hearing what's going on with that, right?
So the last thing I heard was there's a giant ass U.S. aircraft carrier in the South China Sea, and they're just creating a presence. And as far as Russia goes, they're just a bunch of fuckwads. We're giving Ukraine tanks.
I think we're giving them
lots of shit.
Tanks, but we're not giving them F-16s, which is what they've been asking for like F-32s or something.
But that would,
because then it's like, well, when you have to train them, and they've been like trying to train them, and it's just a whole thing. But specifically, I lumped together Russia and China because China's looking at signing a lethal agreement pact with Russia, which means that they're saying like we will go aid you in a lethal form. So like right now they're at war with Ukraine. That would mean that they would put boots on the ground.
And China would.
Full support. Full support.
Because the Russian military is a fucking joke. Apparently.
Yes. This is how we get banned from Russia. But it's okay. I've gotten a lot of stuff banned from Russia. In fact, on my other one. From who? Also, so Russia, they seem to have violated a couple of, I don't know, what is it, like the Geneva Accord, human right violation type stuff?
Geneva Convention.
So they're looking at trying to label them as, what's the word, like a terror state or something like that?
Yeah.
But essentially what it would mean is that they can sanction them more, because I guess we haven't fully sanctioned Russia. But if China supports Russia, then they would technically be aiding in that sense. So we would actually have to more or less fully block off China. We wouldn't be buying or selling from them. So just like a full embargo, which would be rough, right? Because like everything we buy is from China.
Okay. I have a very important question for you.
World
War III hits. Everybody's got to contribute.
We're all nuked.
No. Shit's rolling. It's just war. Death, competition. Everybody has to contribute to the war effort. Me and him, we're fucking enlisted. What jobs are we doing?
Oh. I don't know that we get a choice, but you're saying like in an ideal situation.
Let's say you kind of have somewhat of a choice, but like give me 2 or 3 things.
I want to be a fighter pilot.
Whoa!
Like right off the bat, that's what I want to do. Fucking F-16. Just fuck some shit up.
What's your call sign? Like, what's your fucking name?
Oh, I don't know. How do the names work?
Well, you got Maverick, Rooster.
Oh, so just like a nickname?
Yeah, like your badass nickname.
I don't know. I think they give you like a nickname, right? I don't think you like.
I think your homies were like your friends that went.
I'd have to see you. What would you want to do?
I could see myself boots on the ground, dude.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do special forces, but
I was gonna say that would you be like sniping?
If I could physically get myself into that group, like, dude, I would be fucking Black Ops.
That would be cool.
Very cool. We got a boogie on the sick. Dude, straight Call of Duty shit. That'd be me out there.
That'd be cool.
Sorry, dude.
You guys start going to the gym with me then. You already said you were like, I gotta put on some weight.
Sure
yeah, you want to go? You want to go special forces? Those fuckers are like yoked.
Absolutely, just built.
You basically just work out all day. That's all you're gonna do.
I would love that though, to be in like the Navy SEALs and just not the killing part, but like camaraderie, fucking working out all day.
Well, we could have that. You know, the camaraderie working out. Not all day. Probably an hour or 2 at the most. Honestly, more than that, I'm like, ugh. Because I already do martial arts now. That's like a good chunk of my day.
Have you seen The Lone Survivor? That's just what I think of myself doing.
Okay.
It's like a gnarly Navy SEAL story.
I'll have to watch it then.
All right, what else we got for today?
So, I don't know if you want to hit it yet, but we were going to talk about the other podcast that related to that show. Or did you want to go to that trailer real quick?
What podcast?
He doesn't even remember what we're talking about today. Let's go to the trailer real quick, and we'll circle back, because I think that's going to be a longer conversation.
The Flash trailer.
Yes. So, we were watching the Super Bowl together. I'm sure many of you probably saw it come on. The new Flash movie is coming out. So we're going to go ahead and watch this. For some context, it's supposed to be based off of the comic book Flashpoint, in which Flash goes back in time to save his mom from getting killed. Coming to a theater near you.
Alrighty, here's the Flash trailer.
Tell me. Okay, so we got Flash, what it looks like in front of his
What's
house.
That guy's name, the actor?
I remember the actor's
name. Dude, bro.
Another timeline, see? Another universe. We got Batman.
Tim. Barry. That's his.
Oh, the Flash's name? Barry Allen.
Okay, but in real life.
The actor's name? I don't know.
I'm not gonna lose her again.
Okay.
Time has a pattern.
Let's see. So I assume this is
Wow.
him running back in time. Although we're getting some
Is that him as a kid?
flashback.
Oh, no.
I think no, that might be him as a kid actually.
A flashback.
Magnets.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's back in time. There's his
Cool.
mom.
Who's that?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
We'll have to find out. This is my face. Oh, it's him.
You stole my face.
I guess that's him. I don't know.
June 16th. That's forever away. Damn. All right, we're gonna
It's
go
like
see that
some
for
transfer of power almost going on. Oh, the flash ring. Have you seen that? So it, like
No.
pops open and like his chute like ejects out and he like runs into it.
Sure. Oh damn.
I'm excited for the new Batman.
What was that? Was that from the old one? Oh, this fucker. Okay, this is from Superman. Wow, is this gonna connect a lot of like storylines?
Probably because this is
Is he going through time multiverses?
she changed the timeline is what happened. So like everything we've seen
Who
so
did it?
far,
Who changed it?
flashed it with
By
Flashpoint.
going so fast.
By going back. Well, he went really fast, which took him back in time. He saved his mom. His mom got killed, and then his dad got framed for the murder of his mom. But Reverse Flash was actually the one that killed his mom. So what we're seeing is the result of his mom not dying.
If I can't undo what I did,
Right.
So we got and then Superman. So we're kind of connecting the various universe
It's
back
like, where was he during all this
together.
shit?
Because don't forget, in this universe right now, right, we have like Batman versus Superman, Wonder Woman, the Justice League movies. So I think we're sort of rewriting that. Like maybe none of that happened now.
I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast, but the Justice League the Snyder Cut is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's pretty good.
I've never been into like a 4-hour director's cut,
I
but I
think
watched
they,
that. No break.
I think they decided to make it non-canon though. Like I think they were
You're
gonna
fucking with me.
On the Superman. Like a new Superman.
Wait, that was a girl.
Look, I was gonna say, is that
That was a
a
chick.
Supergirl?
That
Maybe
was
Superman's
chick.
a woman now. He did rewrite the universe. Interesting.
Crazy. Okay, thoughts?
I'm excited. I do though feel hesitant. I love DC. I absolutely love DC, and I just hate that it feels like DC can't get its shit together.
Well, okay, as a majoritively Marvel fan, I've been easing into DC and been like, wow, their MCU is actually pretty fucking cool. I'm with it now.
Yeah.
So from like, I'm easing into it thinking it is pretty good. However, I'm saying Zack Snyder was carrying the team.
They should have let him be the.
I'm so disappointed. I watched
runner
both
for the
Justice
whole series.
Leagues and I was like, there's no question.
Yeah.
Snyder Cut was awesome.
I don't know, and I think maybe this might be an opportunity, to kind of start afresh.
That'd be cool.
It looks like we have a new Batman, new Superman or woman, so this would be the opportunity to re-implement a plan. But they need to make a plan. That's my only concern. Is it just kind of feels like they make a movie and then they're like, that didn't work. Let's just try something else. And it's like, oh my god, like someone plan it out. It doesn't have to be friggin' Marvel Endgame, but I'm like, give me something. We could build up to the equivalent of Avengers, which I feel like they rushed into with Justice League, and then we can kind of get somewhere from there. And it doesn't have to be the same level. It doesn't have to be Disney. But I'm like, give me something.
But I think going Endgame is not the right move because Marvel is struggling right now.
Yeah, now that they did that. Yeah.
We're going to go see Ant-Man here real soon.
Yes.
We're going to have a review on that.
Yes.
But from what I've heard, I'm not that excited to go see it.
Yeah, I do feel like in many ways Marvel sort of has had its time. And that's not to say that I don't want more Marvel movies.
I'm terribly excited to go see Flash. I'm like, June, what the fuck?
I know. But you know what though? The new Spider-Man movie was pretty good.
Oh,
I know. I think we already talked about that on a previous podcast. The third one,
the last one. It was awesome.
I did like that. So like, I'm not disappointed that Marvel's still making movies.
Tearing up.
But it's sort of like, where do we go now? Where did we come from? Where did we go? I don't know. Kind of hard to say.
Where did we come from? Where did we go? I just want Iron Man back. I do.
Yeah, I know. I was at work the other day and it was premiering like all the movies like back to back. It literally like from
Like
the
on
start of the
TV?
shift to like the end of the shift, it got from like the first one all the way through the third one.
No.
The Iron Man's. I couldn't really watch it though. I was working.
Yeah, but you saw like a couple
But
seconds here
I'd
and
like
there.
glance over and I'd be like, "Oh, we're on the second one now."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, we're on the third one now." That was cool.
That's cool. You have TV on at your job. Fuck,
We have two
never-
TVs. Yeah.
Never had that.
And the customers get mad. Like one time I went in, I was like, "I don't know, the TV's not working," and they're like, "Oh, okay, whatever." I'm like, "Darn, I guess we have to like talk or
I've
something."
definitely watched a lot of football while working at Starbucks. Like a lot.
He feels comfortable saying this because he's not going to work at Starbucks anymore. Like by the time this is released, he's not going to be done. Or at least like on his last day.
Not watched it, but you know, it's playing on my phone. I'm trying to listen to
You
it.
know what though? I had a lot of shifts when I was at Starbucks, and they would be, I don't know, doing the pool or whatever, and they'd have like some kind of game going on or something.
Oh, absolutely.
Like one was super into baseball, and it'd
Mhm.
always be like the baseball game.
I listen to a podcast while I'm doing a food pull-up, or I listen
well.
to
Yeah.
sports shit.
If I don't have customers like at work, might as well. Like I'm probably just cleaning or prepping or whatever, and then I'll listen to like a podcast or.
Dude.
But I do get to play my own music, so that is nice.
Oh,
You know, it's like part of like what we do is setting up the music. And I know you can at Starbucks. It was a little bit different because you
Well,
can have like Starbucks stations.
I've been bringing my Bluetooth speaker to Starbucks
That's
and
smart.
just like
That's smart.
playing Kendrick Lamar.
There you go.
Very like that's things I should not be playing.
Probably not.
But yeah, my new job, I'm anticipating
Anticipation.
boringness in a good
It's
way.
a bank, but yeah,
And at Starbucks, it's every 3.5 seconds.
almost too much.
You have something to do, but my manager at the bank goes, "What if I wanted you to spend 2 hours with somebody to get all these things done?" And I was like, "Oh, that sounds like a fucking dream come true. I'd be so effective in 2 hours compared to
Being able to focus on it.
30 seconds."
I know, and you have well, you're like trying to help a customer, and you're also trying to help the employees, and you also have to still do all your shift tasks. And you know, as a barista, it can be a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let me like take the order while I'm also making the whipped cream, but oh, I gotta go over there and put my food in the oven.
Yeah.
People don't realize, right? They're going to the drive-thru at Starbucks ordering something. I probably wasn't ever at the computer when I took your damn order. No, I was probably putting in food, making whipped cream, stocking stuff,
remembering
maybe making the drinks. Yeah.
Working at Starbucks is very difficult. Treat them with some empathy and respect. Being a supervisor was very fucking difficult.
I never did the promotion. That just didn't sound worth the extra dollar. Can you scroll up a little? And then we can get to the next topic. That I wanted. No, scroll up. Yeah. So, Ancient Apocalypse. You remember we were talking about that?
Aliens?
Ancient Apocalypse.
Oh, this is our Joe Rogan
So it's on,
podcast.
yes, the podcast.
We're
See?
going straight
So
Joe
Netflix
Rogan.
came out with a series a little while back called Ancient Apocalypse.
Yes.
You did watch it, right? A little bit of it?
Yes, a few.
So, brief synopsis. What do you got? I'll fill in any gaps as we go.
From that particular series, I can't pull anything, but I think that guy who's made the series, he believes that the Eye of the Sahara in Africa is the site of Atlantis, I believe.
I don't think
From watching
I
Joe
don't-
Rogan.
he didn't talk about that on the show.
He didn't?
But they totally might come out with a season 2.
Or maybe
I mean,
just
I
thinking
don't
some
know.
other shit.
But anyway, we will go into that stuff with Joe Rogan and everything because he has been on Joe Rogan and he actually had Joe Rogan on Ancient Alien or Ancient. You have me calling it Ancient Aliens, Ancient Apocalypse,
Same
for like 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, no, it's not.
So essentially, what he is proposing is that there was a advanced. I don't want to say like sci-fi, but like advanced civilization during the Ice Age. So the Ice Age would have been about, I don't know, 10,000 BC.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at something that was about 12,000 years ago. He believes there was almost like an extinction level event that actually might have also correlated with the end of the Ice Age a little bit. So into the last episode, because he's building up, he goes to all these different sites.
Wait, so
But they
that's
all
only
keep
that
pointing-
long ago? 10, 11, 15,000 years ago?
Yeah, it was about like 12,000 years ago.
Okay.
13,000 years ago. But he goes to all these different sites. So he starts in I'm gonna probably say some of the wrong places. It was like Polynesia or something. And he found a site that was from that time period. It was from like 10,000, 11,000 BCE. Then he goes to sites in the Middle East, like Turkey, that predate like Samaria. So we think of Samaria as like the beginning of civilization, the
Sure.
Mesopotamia. So he finds
Yeah.
one that's like outside of that, predates that.
What?
He also goes to America though, like in Ohio or somewhere, and he finds like do you know what the mound builders are?
The mountain builder?
The mound builders.
I
The
think so.
Mississippian culture. So they built it's the same
Mississippian.
thing. So in like around the area of the Mississippi, there was a group that were building massive mounds. I'm talking like literally making
Like a hill.
human-made little mountains. And Europeans came across them and they were like, "Oh, aliens must have built it," or they just thought it was natural or whatever. Anyway, finally, archaeologists look into it because they're actually going to build a highway. This wasn't on the show. I just already know this, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna build like a highway. Like think I-40, I-25, like the big I right through the middle of this site." And they were like, "You guys can't do that. Like this is an ancient site. Like it's very archaeologically important." So they like had to shift the like highway system around it or whatever. But now they know there was like this thriving culture that had charted all kinds of stuff astrologically. But then that's what he gets into too. So a lot of the stuff he's finding at all the sites, they're tracking astronomy. And we know that, right? And a lot of ancient stuff. But it's sort of like, but why were they tracking astronomy? It feels pretty easy to be like, well, because the stars look pretty, you can figure out the seasons, whatever. He's hypothesizing space snakes, comets, asteroids, something like that came, because that's what they would have called it in a lot of cultures. Like they almost thought it was like a sky snake. And that's what they see at this site.
Okay.
They see a massive snake the mound builders built. And it's pointed in the direction that lines itself exactly 12,000 years ago with like the spring equinox or solstice or something like that. Anyways, at the site in Turkey, same thing. They have like astrology that we might recognize, like Scorpio, not Sagittarius, but like a bird that would sort of be in the shape of that, like
Turkey?
bow. Yeah, they have like a turkey in Turkey.
Is
So
it huge?
sort of, but it also is snake-esque. That's the other interesting thing. It's Golden Tempe.
Have you heard of the Nazca lines in Peru?
I have.
What do you think of those?
I didn't get to see when I was in Peru.
Did this guy mention anything about that?
No, I don't think they're that old. I think the Nazca lines are only a couple thousand years old, a couple hundred.
Okay, never mind.
I don't actually know.
Continue.
They're pre-Inca, but I don't know.
I don't know if this is part of the Nazca lines, but there's these ditches, I think, close to the Nazca line.
Yeah.
Do you know about those?
I don't.
So it looks like every 3 feet for like a mile-long strip, every 3 feet, there's like a 6-foot deep hole.
Huh.
So it looks like a giant mining machine just like
Just drilling.
rolled over and just like took all these samples or something.
Huh.
But they say it's, I can't remember the years.
That's interesting.
Very old.
I'll have to look into that for the next podcast.
Definitely
then.
a Peru area.
In that area. Okay. But anyway, so astrology on this stone face and the sun. What's important about the sun is if you can figure out where the sun is in relation to those signs, you can basically get a date.
Okay.
Again, the date we're finding is about 12,000 BCE. So again, all this shit just keeps pointing. It's like everything was astrologically aligned.
Things keep pointing
to things
12,000.
like the Northern Star, to Sirius, to the sun, to the moon. But if you date it all the way back to when they would have been aligned to that, 12,000 BCE or right around then.
Sick.
Anyway, so yeah, I don't know, just like a bunch of stuff out there. There was even like this hypothesis that maybe I found like Atlantis or whatever, but I think he was playing on just other people's stuff. Ultimately, though, he hypothesizes that the comet or comets hit all the ice because right at this time, most of the planet was covered in ice sheets, like a mile thick. And what's going to happen when something like a comet hits it? Because that's super hot, super
so
explosive and hot. It's going to hit all that
sheets,
ice, and then you have a
catastrophic
flood. And what do you get from like all of these cultures? All the sites you went to in Mexico have flood myths. Peru, I know, has a flood myth. Gilgamesh from the Middle East, from Babylon and Samaria, flood myth.
Right.
Even Noah. I mean, Egypt has like similar things. Mexico has similar things. Where after all this, you have a flood, and then all of a sudden you have this person, a deity usually, bring culture. There's always this cultural bringer that happens after the devastating flood, after the devastating crisis. Like, we lost civilization, everything got destroyed, slate wiped clean, we're starting over. Deity, smart person comes along and is like, here's astrology
perfect time
and
to take
astronomy
advantage
and
of
math and history and culture.
Society. Yeah.
And being able to teach them. Well, not even taking advantage of, he's theorizing that they were from that advanced civilization. Atlantis, if you want to call it, whatever it was. It could have been multiple different civilizations, I suppose. But after this massive flooding, which, you know, if you're in a local area, you might think the whole damn world just ended. Now, all of a sudden, they're the ones that are like, okay, civilization got almost wiped out. Let's go help everyone everywhere else relearn culture and math and science and astronomy. Why do you want to know astronomy? Because then you can track these sky snakes. So that way you can be like, is there another freaking meteor gonna hit us? And we're gonna get hit by a comet again?
So this was from the show.
show.
That was his conclusion?
Yeah.
Comment? Okay.
He does, though. He gets a lot of criticism. He's referred to as a pseudo-archaeologist, but he even says himself, I'm not an archaeologist. I am a journalist, and this is what I'm investigating. So respect on that.
Do you remember any geological evidence?
He actually worked with a geologist at one point. He also was working with like marine biologists. He was working with historians in local areas.
How close would the comet have to come to actually interfere with the temperature here? Pretty fucking close, I would imagine.
What do you mean, like, come close? Like, because it impacted is what he's saying.
Oh,
like it hit.
I thought it was a flyby.
So no, like it hit the
impact.
ice sheet. And he's theorizing it specifically hit like North America, like in the United States. Because you find like these ripples. So you know like what the ocean does on a beach, where it like goes in and it flattens out the sand and it comes back out and it makes those ripples. He was finding that, but like massive scale in this site that also had a reservoir. Think almost like the Grand Canyon. It wasn't the Grand Canyon, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
And he's thinking that's where it impacted. We don't have evidence of the actual impact because it hit ice. It caused a temperature change and it melted it, causing it all to initially kind of blow up and kind of get, do that ripple effect.
Massive explosion.
And then it just eroded out from there and caused everything.
Wow.
Now, I did want to say, though, I do think, as someone who has my degree in history, I think he over stretches stuff. I think he tries to make correlations and links where it's not always clear. It's one of those correlation isn't causation, and I think he tries to overlink stuff, but I do think comparative mythology is a very interesting topic, but he hits on that very much so. He's basically like, oh, because all these cultures have a flood myth and they all have like a cultural bringer after that, then there must have been a flood. Like, it almost feels like that. I know he has evidence that he's showing throughout the show, but I do also think at the same time there is a reason he's getting criticism from so many anthropologists, archaeologists, historians. It's like maybe you're sort of jumping to a conclusion without having all the evidence. But with that said, I do think it's unfortunate that archaeologists won't investigate the stuff that he's saying. He keeps finding all this stuff, and he's like, I'm like carbon dating this, and it's saying this date. I'm finding this, and this is, astrologically pointing to this date. And they're like, yeah, whatever. Like, no one will even look into it. So I do think it's on both sides. The archaeologists need to actually investigate some of this stuff. But I do think there is room for criticism on his part as well. Healthy criticism.
Okay.
Not just shooting down everything he says.
Another question for you here. How do you feel about Ancient Aliens?
I haven't watched Ancient Aliens.
No, but do you know anything about the theories?
I'm familiar with the fact that they think the pyramids were like landing pads for spaceships and that the pyramids were built by
do you think
by aliens
early human civilization, current human life, do you think there was any input
from aliens?
From an alien source. I think it's entirely possible.
Maybe.
Just the fact that our evolution happened rather very quickly. I think how we turned from a hairy fucking brutish hominid into a hairless fucking human.
It wasn't
so
that
quickly.
that quick.
Well, they say it's because we started eating all these crazy things. We had omega-3s. We ate bone marrow.
Yeah.
All these things help our brain develop. But it's like, dude, any other animal could eat that shit too. How come we are so different and skinless and
on
a
something
different path? How come we have to build?
something I found when I was reading an anthropology book in college was it was talking about figuring out how brain capacity is changing. If you look at older humans, so if we're thinking like I don't know, ancient people. I'm not even talking like Neolithic. I'm just talking like, just a couple
2,000
thousand
years
years old, right? Even just from then to now, there's a different amount of space in the part where like your neck is connecting into your brain, like all those veins are coming in
Really?
because you need extra blood flow.
Yeah.
The more you're using your brain, the more blood needs to get to there. And
I
so
imagine so.
older humans might be like that big, and like modern humans are now this big. Like it's like almost doubled in size, I
We're
think.
becoming all brain and nothing else.
A little bit. That is the problem.
We're going to upload our consciousness into a
Into the
computer
cloud.
chip.
Into the cloud.
So let's move on from ancient aliens. Can I bring up another topic?
I do want to say real quick though, because I have had people ask me, as someone who studied history and studies history, like if I think that this or that would be the case, especially with something like the pyramids. Why were the pyramids built in the Americas and like in the Middle East and like Egypt all like around the same time, but like totally separate of each other? Well, if we want to believe ancient apocalypse guy, it's because these civilization builders came along and probably said, hey, here's how you build this. But I don't even give a shit if we want to go off of that theory. Let's just say totally separate of each other, there weren't aliens. I think it's almost disrespectful to assume that humans couldn't have come up with that. Why do you think that Native Americans or indigenous people couldn't have done it, but people over in the Middle East could? I'm not saying like you, but like people in general, right?
No, humans totally built the pyramids. There's
so
a bajillion methods.
I just think
could have did it.
In a sense, you have to think like you started in the Middle East with ziggurats, which were kind of flat, and then they eventually kind of built up. But the mound builders were kind of doing the same thing, just with dirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's natural to kind of just want to build up. Think like a church. What are you building up towards? The heavens, the sky, the sun, whatever the hell you're worshiping. But also, it's just this central point, and it's really easy to build if you don't have something like steel to be able to build straight up.
Yeah.
So I do think something like that. I'm not saying that there wasn't potential alien influence on human development and civilization.
But what about our DNA?
I don't know. That is an interesting point. But then that almost gets into, are people getting abducted? And I don't know.
But this could have happened a long time ago.
Yeah, not in recent time.
So if it didn't, how do you feel about aliens being sort of like they're watching us at the zoo? Like we're just
I don't think about it.
Dumb animal.
I don't think about it.
It's like in Star Trek when there's an inferior civilization
that
knows nothing about anything.
And they're studying them.
Okay, let's not let them know that we exist, or else they're going to think
prime directive. Yeah, all that stuff. So I want to hit on it since we're sort of talking about it. So Atlantis, the theory of Atlantis, comes from Plato. So the first time we ever see it is in the Timaeus, in which Plato basically talks about a advanced civilization that submerged, fell underwater, right? So kind of following along the same lines, that sinking, that water, all that, the one thing is, I feel like as a historian, I have to be like, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. The first time and only time we hear about it for like 500 fucking years is Plato. And I hate that people are so obsessed with Atlantis, because I'm like, the dude talked about it, and in a sense, it's sort of like Sir Thomas More with Utopia. Imagine if we thought utopia, well, you know the term utopia, like a utopian society. Yeah. Utopia was a work. And it was written by a guy, Sir Thomas More, and he basically was just like, this is a perfect society, a utopian society. It's called Utopia. And he literally was like, this is their language, and this is their clothes, and this is their culture. It's a whole book. I read it. It's interesting. But it's literally just like a philosophical work on like what the ideal civilization is. Plato did a similar thing. It's called The Republic. He talks about like the ideal government and system of rule and culture and all that kind of stuff. So the Timaeus, in my mind, feels like maybe it's an extension of that a little bit. Now, granted, there's more to it, but it's a hypothetical conversation. It's him and I think Socrates and like a guy named Timaeus or whoever else is in it, and they're literally just casually having a conversation. And the book actually jumps around a lot. It's not about Atlantis. It's literally about like talking. That's how they did philosophy back then.
Yeah.
It was conversation and typically hypothetical people, hypothetical situations, and that's just how they wrote philosophy, as if it was a conversation that was happening, like you and me. So they talk about Atlantis a little bit, kind of come back to it. Eventually they dive in a little bit. He talks about his father, Plato's father, went to Egypt and supposedly came across records in Egypt that talked about Atlantis or something.
Oh.
But again, it's like we don't have any evidence of any of this.
This is all hearsay.
And then the second time we hear about Atlantis is in another one of his works. So it's like Plato's basically the only dude writing about Atlantis, and then all of a sudden, a couple hundred years later, everyone's like, Atlantis is real. We need to find it. And like, it must be here. Or no, it's there. And it's...
Yeah, okay, I've heard this.
And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's not, because then I hate to say it, I have to go to the spiritual side. You know, I do my spiritual hippy dippy. In the spiritual community, in the New Age, they believe that Atlantis is real. They believe Atlanteans are here, observing us, kind of like Star Trek, what you're talking about. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe Atlantis is real. Maybe it's not. You know? Hard to say.
It doesn't need to be real. We're here now. That's all that matters. Right?
Aliens, Atlantis. Okay.
So, wait, where was my segue was the future.
The future is now. We're uploading our consciousness to the cloud.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. How do you feel about the future direction of mankind and AI in the digital age? I have a very strong feeling
I already started thinking about it since I had the watch. I was like, God, I feel like I'm becoming reliant on technology. I don't need a watch. I already have a fucking smartphone.
How do you wake up if you need to wake up on time? You set an alarm on your phone.
I actually use an old-fashioned.
Okay, well, I had one for the longest time, but I haven't used it for years. I'm just saying, most of modern younger generation, they're becoming more and more reliant on society. However, okay, so
here's like Google Maps, man. I can't get anywhere without Google Maps.
Oh, fuck
I might even have an idea of how to get there, but I'm still going to put it in.
I spend hours and hours on Google Maps just to like feel comfortable. And I think it's...
And I'm like, how did people get places? How did they get places? Like before? Because I know there was a period of time you could print it off.
And a rock and the sun. And
I know.
Like, okay.
I'm like, because I know for a while, like you could like print off the sheet. Like that's what my parents were doing. I remember for a while, you know, before like GPSs were in cars or on your phone. But I'm like, even before that, literally, I don't understand. Did someone give you like a list of directions? Were you just on the phone and they were like, okay, you're going to go this way for a mile and then turn left on this street and then go this way? And I'm like, what if it's across town?
You don't remember that? I remember my parents asking for directions all the time and my dad looking through for something in a phone book and being like, okay, 21st Street. All right, we're going to have to find it. Like,
that is crazy.
It's crazy, right?
I would have gotten lost and I would have been late to
I'm sure everybody was late and lost.
What you adapt.
So space travel.
Space travel.
The universe and these physical solar systems and planets and galaxies are so physically vast and far apart. I think it's unrealistic to actually travel that space. So
I've had this conversation with people before.
I think we're gonna have the ability to like upload our consciousness into some sort of avatar or machine.
You think?
Yeah. And that's how we're gonna do a lot of our space exploration, colonization.
I guess by extension, you could think like if you could do something like Star Trek with teleportation, because what if it's not just transporting like
that would be
a couple kilometers? What if you could do it like millions of miles, billions of miles?
So I think that would be ideal. Obviously, if we can open up a new form of science in terms of fucking,
But let's say maybe we
fabric
can't
of space time.
Maybe we can't do that. Maybe we can't transfer the consciousness. Maybe we can't teleport. Physically transporting people from one place to another.
Oh, so faster than light, speed travel?
So I'm thinking that's one thing. But is that possible?
I don't know.
Can we break
what goes faster?
The light barrier, right? Think of breaking the sound barrier.
Does anything go faster than light? Do they know?
I want to say I think there are particles.
I think in a black hole,
but I don't know.
Pulls light.
Slows it down.
It slows it down, or does it pull it in faster?
Slows it down.
I think it speeds it up
because of the gravity. It causes everything. As you get closer and closer, it starts slowing down.
Like in Interstellar. I fucking love that movie.
But I get what you're saying. Okay, so yeah, so there are some different ideas about this. So number one, let's say you can't go faster than the speed of light. I don't know. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I'm not a friggin' astrophysicist. Sure. But let's say you're able to even go the speed of light, or just about. So that's number one. I think you need to be able to go super goddamn fast, just as is. Number two, you need something else, because that's not going to cut it. It's still going to take you decades, if not centuries, to travel to other planets.
Yes.
So you're going to need something like that. Being able to pull with gravity is what I think you're trying to get at. Being able to pull. But I don't know what that looks like.
It's back to ancient aliens.
There's just not going back. Okay.
No, I've seen from some weird ancient alien shit that anti-gravity technology exists, or we've reverse engineered it from some Roswell shit or whatever. Either way, the point is that it creates a, like, if gravity is like a trampoline, right? You put a weight in the center, everything is going to roll towards that, right? So you create that dip right in front of your craft. So your craft is rolling on this gravity wave. You can point it any which way direction.
Yeah.
Gravity essentially doesn't matter.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
You
might have told me this.
Bend this wave.
That sounds familiar.
So that's how they think these, like, flying saucers and the what do they call it? The Tic Tac UFO. These all must have like
something like that.
Anti-gravity.
Interesting. Because I was gonna say the other one. Back to Star Trek, warping space. Right, that's why they call it warp, because they're warping space. So it's like,
how fast did they do? What do they do in Star Trek?
Well, if you're thinking real quick, so let me explain it for people that don't understand. You have a map, right? What happens when you crunch it together, right? Think like what was the show? Fairy Godparents. They did that. They literally like had a map and then just like did the wand, and all of a sudden the maps like crunched together. Oh. It's things like that. Okay. I always thought that was a really easy way to visualize it. Yeah. Literally, you're taking a map and it's like you crunch it together, and now all of a sudden you're a couple bumps and here we go. We're on the other side of the planet now, basically. But in this case, the universe, you're warping space, and that's why they in Star Trek came up with the concept of warp 10. So that's like what the Borg are using and other species and stuff. In which you go so fast or I shouldn't say go so fast, you warp space so much it's infinite. You can infinitely warp space.
Wow.
So it's not just you're warping it a little bit, like literally from any 2 points. Now they're together. You just cross that barrier.
How fast did the Borgs travel then? Is it instant?
Infinitely. But they also have like the Borg hub. I don't know. That's getting into a totally separate thing, but.
Oh. But I mean, they're like, okay, it's an hour trip, or they just like.
They were faster than the Enterprise, though. That's for sure.
Damn.
They were overtaking them. Voyager, though, does hit on warp 10. They try to use that to get back home, and they use a space shuttle to do it. And then all of a sudden, I don't remember the characters. It was like Tom Paris and B'Elanna Torres or something. I think turned into like lizards. It like caused them to like evolve or devolve into like lizards because they went warp 10. Was like faster than humans were supposed to be able to.
Dude, I need to catch up on Star Trek. That sounds fascinating. Like what?
But Star Trek is another thing that they were using in the prequel series. So the Xindi are using a thing called. People are gonna be like, "Oh God, we're getting into like real nerd talk."
We fucking told you this is the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Continue.
Subspace. So subspace would be another one.
What?
So if you're thinking right, like we have wormholes and stuff like that. So we're in regular space. I mean these are all the different ideas. If you have a black hole, you need a white hole. So if you're gonna go in a black hole, where does it go? No, I'm not making a vagina joke. So you
No, I thought
that was my vagina joke. So where does it go? Where does it go?
Everything is so fiercely condensed.
So it's basically they assume it's just kind of out the back. It's just crushed up into particles.
Particles.
So there's no way you could use a wormhole, black hole, because you're just going to kill yourself.
It would just turn you into particles.
We need what's called a white hole. So if you have a black hole, you would need the opposite. You need a white hole. Where the fuck is the white hole? We've never discovered a white hole.
Oh.
Meaning that there could be an entry point for a black hole and then an exit point for a white hole, but we've never found it. Mm-hmm. So as of right now, the assumption is You just fucking get crushed up into particles, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It's just maybe out the back.
Matthew McConaughey actually made it through.
Okay. Good for him. I just thought it was
actually
good. And I love the science behind it.
I think you enter into like the fifth dimension, fourth.
But subspace, so you're leaving regular space, right? That was another concept that they were hitting on. I don't know how to explain what that would even look like, but you're not in space, so I don't know. I guess subspace. They also had the mycelial, I can't even say the word, mycelial network, which is what they're doing in Discovery now, Star Trek Discovery, in which they just travel along this, and like the ship does like a flip thing, and then it's like somewhere else in space, and they can go anywhere they want like that.
Wow, this is in the new Star Trek Discovery?
Yeah, through the mycelial network.
Update me on new Star Trek MCU.
Oh,
what's good? What's not?
So
what do you recommend?
Sure, we did a review on the trailer for it, but Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds is super good.
One episode
because it's basically like the Enterprise before Kirk was captain. Because that's what the original concept was. I think we talked about it a little bit. Right. They came out with the pilot. They didn't like it. It was Lucille Ball decided to take it over, Looky Lou Productions, and she was I Love Lucy, that same one. Yeah, she's the one who saved Star Trek. There would not be Star Trek without her. And they gave him a second chance. So the second chance was Kirk's the captain now. They wanted a different dynamic. Okay. But this is a really cool show. I think they used some of the original script ideas from Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek. And just all around, like it's, I don't know, just a little bit more upbeat, it's Star Trek-y. I feel like a lot of modern Star Trek.
They put money into it, so like it's good production quality.
Oh yeah, all of them. Sure. Paramount Plus. So Paramount owns it, and Paramount Plus is like their main shows. So they're putting a lot. There's also Lower Decks. Okay. Lower Decks is based off of an episode from Next Gen called Lower Decks, in which it's about all of the crew members that are like ensigns or like the lower
all the regular people.
Like they're not living in quarters; they're living in like a little bunk bed system, and
the people that don't get on camera.
And it's about a ship the people that don't get on camera. And it's about a ship that's like not an Enterprise. It's like what they call it, because Enterprise is always getting like first contact with aliens. They're second contact. So it's like, Enterprise already did their thing. We're coming along and we're just like filling out all the paperwork, basically. They did the fun stuff. Like, hey, we're going to introduce you to the Federation. And they're just coming along to be like, so now we're going to fill out some paperwork or like whatever. And they always fuck everything up.
Oh, fucking Kirk.
So that one's funny. It kind of gives me a little bit of a Rick and Morty vibe. Oh, cool. It's not Rick and Morty at all. Don't get me wrong. But it kind of has that same kind of vibe. Because it's definitely like an adult cartoon kind of.
So what about
just Discovery and Picard?
Film-wise. Is there any Star Trek movies?
There's nothing recently. Oh God, they've been fighting over if they're gonna do.
What happened with the Chris Pine
episode 4? Yeah, I don't know. The 4th installment has been in the works.
I loved them.
They're so good. No, so part of the problem was the first script, maybe even the second script, they wanted to use Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth. You remember Chris Hemsworth was his dad?
Yes.
Well, Chris Hemsworth is a much bigger actor now, and he's like, I want more money.
Oh, I bet.
And Chris Pine also got a little to his head, and he's like, I want more money. And they're
both pretty.
Basically, this article I was reading online was like, Star Trek's not Marvel. They can't afford the amount of money that they want. So I think
they did good though.
I think they
did good.
But it's no Avengers. You know what I'm saying? Like they want that kind of pay. They want like Avengers pay, but for Star Trek, and Star Trek's like, we make good money, but we don't make like good money. So they rewrote the script again, and then and actually I think it was like the 3rd or 4th version was supposed to be rated R. Like it was gonna be like gruesome.
I'm down.
And then they threw it out. So now I think they're on like the 5th version of the script. And it sounds like Chris Pine is on board, but I don't think they're gonna fuck with Chris Hemsworth. I actually think personally, fuck Chris Pine. Not that I dislike him as an actor. I think he's great. But if he wants more money, it's fucking sci-fi. Be like, oh, there was a teleporter accident. I don't know why he looks different. Hire a different actor.
Yeah.
Just ideas, Star Trek. I don't know. You do whatever you want. I just want my next movie. I don't care who plays Kirk.
Keep Spock character.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Oh, what's the actor's name? You remember?
John Spock. I don't know.
You just say John? You're just guessing a name?
John Spock.
He was in, what was it, Heroes? Do you ever watch Heroes?
Yes.
He was the villain.
Yes.
I had the hardest time
That guy.
watching him as Spock at first, and I was like, is he going to slice people's heads open? Like, steal their powers?
I don't know. I feel like I could tell, since I saw him on that show, Heroes.
Yeah.
I was like, it was a hard sell for Spock for me at first.
Yeah, it was.
But now I'm on board.
He's Spock.
He's Spock.
He's Spock. I actually, I found out he had a really good relationship with Leonard Nimoy, because Leonard Nimoy, the original Spock, was on the movie, right?
With so the red matter, and he came from the future.
Yeah.
Which one is that? Into Darkness? No.
No. It's just Star Trek. I think it's literally just called Star Trek.
The first one?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the second one's Into Darkness, and then the one that came after that, I don't remember what it's called. The third one.
Star Trek 5. There's so many Star Treks out there.
Well, there's a bunch that came out before those ones, because those are the Kelvin timeline. You want to do some of the video reactions?
Do you want to do any reactions, or do we just want to call it soon? I do have another question that is not where it's Uncharted.
Let's do this. Let's do one real quick. Just like, I don't know, top one. I don't know what they are. I'm trying to surprise myself a little too. Put on this. Make sure you have the sound on though.
Surprise reaction. Turn it on.
Yeah. Make sure we have sound, because there shouldn't be any copywritten anything. It's literally just like generic videos from online.
Alrighty, we're gonna react to something. Oh, okay. I see the title.
We're getting there.
Okay.
It's loading.
Side quest, real quick.
Yeah.
My question.
Why this is going anyway?
X-Men MCU. I've been on a cinematic journey as of late, catching myself.
Had you not watched it?
So I'd seen up to Apocalypse or Days of Future Past.
Okay.
And I was all discombobulated as far as timeline.
I'm still upset that they came out with Last Stand and then they proceeded to stand after that. They needed to all...
You son of a bitch! I'm trying to ask you some shit.
They needed to all be in a fucking wheelchair like Professor X. I think it wants you to log in. Ask me your question, though.
Fuck you, Facebook. How do you like the X-Men MCU series? Have you seen them all?
It's so good. It's so good.
The Phoenix.
It looks like it's not going to let you. We could just do it on my phone if you want.
How do you feel about like the Logan? Have you seen Logan?
Logan is good.
Or
it's
the
very
Wolverine?
dark. We'll do it on my phone in a second. So let's just discuss this and we'll just pull it up on my phone. For whatever reason, it wants him to like verify his fucking Facebook account right now. So we're not going to worry about it. Logan's good. Do you know what happened though? Like, do you know the setup for Logan? Because it's not super clear.
Yes, I'm trying to think of Logan.
So basically,
thrown off.
We just have Wolverine and Professor X. Like, that's the only two that are left now.
Okay.
So how did we get there?
What?
And Professor X is like unwell, right?
Not well at all. He's cool.
So what happens is he's getting old. He's losing control of his powers, and he basically fucks everyone up. He kills them.
Everything's like ringing for like a mile radius or something.
And Logan is like the only one who's able to survive. I mean, he has a super healing and all that,
constantly
whatever.
Healing.
Or maybe he was in the direct vicinity. I don't remember. I haven't seen the movie in a while. But that's the comic.
He goes right up to him when it's like hard for him. Yeah.
That's the comic though. Is that Professor X basically killed all the X-Men. So now Logan, as the movie's called, has the decision of like, what do I do now? And he's basically trying to take care of him. And he's kind of like, yeah, I know it was an accident. Like, don't worry about it. It's okay. But they don't ever say what happened directly.
What happened at the end of The Wolverine? Do you remember that one when he goes to Japan?
Oh, God, he's fighting Deadpool, right?
What?
Is that the one? Am I thinking of something else? There's one where there's like Deadpool in it, though.
Okay, now
because there's also the one where there's his brother. It's like the origin.
This is getting out of hand.
Story for him. There's so many. There's so many. Yeah, I think the one where he goes to Japan, that's Deadpool, because the guy survives like the Hiroshima whatever bomb.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I don't know which nuclear bomb he was supposed to be
Hiroshima, probably.
Yeah, one of the bombs. So he survives that, right?
That was crazy. That was a crazy scene.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So anyway, I've been trying to
pull this up for when we're ready.
just understand the X-Men MCU timeline.
It's
so
so
we have
good.
the first 3. The third one is Last Stand, right?
And then they
But
stand
then
after
that's
that.
Halle Berry. That's kind of an older. That's probably a different director, kind of a different era, right?
But it's all canon.
But it's all canon.
All canon.
So then they go to First Class, right?
First Class is good. I like that one.
That was a good one. No, I haven't seen that yet. It's not.
Okay, First Class kind of goes back in time.
I've seen it before.
It's the
but
first
I
class.
saw it a long
It's
time.
the first X-Men class. So it's sort of introducing you to the X-Men. There's also the Wolverine origin story in which it's him and his brother. He doesn't have metal claws. He has like his bones pop out because they replace his bones.
That was in
with
Days of Future Past. Is there more of that with him with the
he
bones?
gets a whole origin story. It's not Days of Future Past.
What?
Oh, he interacts with his old self, like in the 70s or whatever it
In
is.
Days
or-
of Future Past, they send his mind back.
He's like in the
time
60s
so that
or-
he can change the future.
Yeah, he's like in the
Because of the
60s or
robots.
70s or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so it's pre that. The origin story is like 1800s, like Civil War. It's him and his brother like surviving through the Civil
That's how
War.
old he is.
Well, he has infinite healing, so he doesn't age. Yeah,
What the?
but he
I
also
thought
has
he
a-
was born in. I thought he was born. I thought the 60s would have been like his normal trajectory, but then no.
No, he's super old because he's always, or I don't know if he's always had his super healing. But the fact that
I'm about to touch this
He's
microphone.
like-
Which one did I miss? How old is he?
so look up, I don't know, look up the Wolverine movies because they're specific. There's Logan. There's the one you're talking about where he goes to Japan. And then there's the one where it's like Wolverine
Was he in the
origin
Civil
movie.
War or some shit.
Yeah, well, it's like the opening to the movie. It kind of like has the credits rolling, I think, and it's like him and his brother in the Civil War. I don't really remember specifically though. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I did not know he was that old.
You got to see that though.
Yeah.
You ready for this though?
Yes. Let's hit
So
this
this is
action.
technically Marvel, but it's also a little bit of Breaking Bad too. Go watch the Breaking Bad RV tour we just did.
Yeah, the newest vlog on our channel, Breaking Bad.
But, so we got Thanos. He's snapping the gauntlet with all the Infinity Stones.
Right.
Everything is gonna start disappearing. But what? The stones aren't there.
Impossible. This is really well done.
So we got Tuco from Breaking
Oh yeah, I remember
Bad
this episode.
snorting the Infinity Stones.
Blue, yellow, pink. Whatever, man. Just keep bringing me that. Somebody move Crystal in the South Valley for me.
The South Valley. Subscribe, mother.
That was so
I had
funny.
to show my mom that video.
I
She's gonna
know.
get
I
kicked
thought
out
of your
that.
mom. I forgot what the video was though. I put it on there a little while back.
That was a good one. That one cracked me up.
Okay. Let's do one more.
Is there another?
And then I
Right
did okay. I want to talk about one topic after this.
These
but-
are all Facebook. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's cool. I got it on here. So it's the sound. It's seeing if we're for how old we are.
Only people under the age of 25 can hear this sound. Listen.
Oh.
Did you hear it?
Oh.
Only people under the age of
I hate it. I'm gonna
25
put it
can
next to
hear
the
this
mic.
sound.
Are you fucking
Listen.
with me? Oh, I heard it then,
Oh.
Did you hear
Oh, I
it?
hate it.
but it wasn't that bad. I could barely
Oh
hear
my
it.
god. Oh, that hurt. Okay, but I would like it shown I just turned 26, so I'm not under the age of 25.
I'm old as
but
fuck.
I heard
I
it
can
and that
barely-
hurt. Oh god. Oh, it's such a high pitched noise.
I didn't hear it until you moved it closer.
What's this one? Let's see. Oh, this one's funny, dude.
I hope that sound will pick up.
Well, we can put
We can
the video. We'll just put the video in the in the
There we
thing
go.
for all of them. That way, if anyone's watching on YouTube, they'll see it. And if you're doing
We
the
want to
audio
know
version, you
how
can always
old our audience is.
hear everything.
Or
Yeah,
if
how
I'm-
old are you
Or
guys?
if I'm just old and deaf.
Can you hear the sound? Okay, there's this one.
How did you get this footage of me?
Where'd you get the footage?
Where'd you get that?
Oh, Lisa sent it to me.
Fuck.
Fuck. It's so
It's on the
funny,
internet.
though. There was something.
He's a clown too. It's like
Was there something you wanted to? Oh, it was the X-Men thing.
yeah, no, I'm just internally excommunicated with the excrement.
What are they called?
With the excavator. man.
Pekka chickas. Pekka chicka
The Pekka chickas.
So the only thing I want to
need more
talk
of
about, and I think we can probably wrap after that, is Mandalorian season 3 just came out like 2 days ago or something like that.
No, so I'm an unworthy source of
Have
reaction.
you watched season 2 yet?
I fell asleep.
Oh, during the premiere of season 3?
Yes.
Oh, that's okay.
I had some shit to do. I think I had an interview or something, so I took a melatonin sleepy gummy.
It happens.
Yeah, dude.
But have you seen season 1, season 2 all the way through?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Boba Fett 2?
No. Do I need
You
to?
can't watch season 3 then. So they fucked me up, man, because I hadn't finished season 2. So I watched season 1. I watched half of season 2. I start watching Boba Fett. Well, Boba Fett halfway through is fucking Mandalorian season 3, I guess. They bring on Mando. What? And it's not like Boba Fett and Mando hanging out. Like, it's Mando's story. Like, they literally continue from the end of season 3 or season 2.
Okay.
And it's like his story. From there, he gets a whole ass episode or 2 before he finally joins up with Boba.
I've heard of this on YouTube.
And I'm like, how the hell are you going to do me like that? Because I hadn't watched all of season 2. So all of a sudden, he's delivered the kid. I'm like,
right.
I didn't even know.
So I've seen episode 6 of Boba Fett because it has Grogu in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. They bring him back in because he decides, he's like, I'm not going to be a Jedi. I'm going to put on the armor that Dad gave me. And I'm like, hey, you put on the armor because he made you that Mandalorian armor.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm torn. Where do you want Grogu to go? Dude, I've loved Luke Skywalker since I could say the words Luke Skywalker. And
it's hard because you have
Ahsoka
Tano, and honestly, screw Ahsoka, because why is she getting in the way of that relationship? I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that he can't have ties or whatever, because then you're going to get an Anakin Skywalker. But I'm also like, he's basically Yoda, so he's going to live for like forever, and he's going to outlive Mando. As she said, like Mando's only going to be alive for like a fraction of his life.
Yeah.
So just let them have their damn relationship.
Okay.
And then he can still go be a Jedi. He'll be long dead by the time he's like
he's
Master Yoda or whatever he's going to become.
Jedi, he can fucking hang out with Mando.
So I just do think eventually it would be good if they meet up and finally do his training. Be if it's with Luke. Ideally not Ahsoka. She was honestly never my favorite. But, you know, she's cool and all. We'll have to see. But he's going to live for a long time. So honestly, it could be a disciple of Luke. Like Luke could have a freaking master disciple, and then that could be the one who trains Grogu. It could be Luke. I mean, I don't know. As he said, because he was saying you were going to be my first student. And to be honest with you, I don't want goddamn Grogu anywhere near Luke, because what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Because then we
gets fucked.
We get the lead in with Ben Kenobi.
Yes.
Or wait, not Kenobi. Solo. Ben Solo.
You had me. Yeah. Ben Solo.
He's like, I know who you're talking about.
I know you're talking about.
And then he leads the Knights of Ren, and then he becomes.
Yeah.
It's,
are the Knights of Ren students?
I think so. I think it's.
Or are they just like stray Jedis who went dark? That's a good.
I don't know. I don't know that much about Star Wars lore. But obviously Han Solo's son does lead this group, and then becomes Kylo Ren.
Right.
Which to me is like, I just want to be Darth Vader. Like his whole fucking thing is just like, I want to be just like him.
Okay, so now if I'm projecting Grogu's path here, it's got to be Mando.
But that would be training him to become a Mandalorian.
So why does Mando...
And
so how...
I like that they introduced this whole, like, split group thing where it's like, you have the Mandalorians, and then you have, like, these group of fuckers that are like, this is the way, you can't take off your mask and all that. And they're like, Y'all are like
Oh.
religious zealots. Like,
right. That's like you can take your mask off. Like, fuck that Old Testament shit.
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Because I had watched Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and they have the Mandalorians in that. So I was so confused with this whole like we can't take our helmet off, and why is their armor like straight silver and not blue and all that. And then they actually bring in the Mandalorians I'm familiar
So
with.
in the opening scene that I did see of season 3, episode 1, it was chaos.
Oh.
There was a bunch of Mandalorians fighting a fucking giant crocodile.
Oh,
That's the only thing I remember.
nice.
Oh, you didn't watch it yet?
I have not watched it yet.
Okay, well, it's not a huge spoiler. I don't know
No, that's okay.
anything after that.
We need to watch it, and then we'll
The first 2 minutes was just like...
we'll hit back and discuss.
Crocodile.
I think by the time we make the next episodes, probably episode 2 will also be out. So we could go watch episode 1 and 2, talk shop on that.
Oh, yeah, we're already blown it. Yeah, we need Mandalorian extensive review because that's a great show. I've been a fan of it.
And then we can look
all along.
we can look into this whole Knights of Ren situation. I don't know as much about the Star Wars lore, so we'll have to
I'm
figure
just
that out.
curious because I brought it up. I'm gonna have to write this down. We need to figure out who the Knights of Ren are.
Where's the unpaid intern? Can you
intern?
Can you
Are
write
you
it down?
taking notes? He's fucking drinking a White Claw over there. God damn it.
Dude, come on! I brought the
You brought good cider.
Whatever. Well, I think that's a wrap, man.
That's gonna be a wrap for episode 10, guys. You know what to do. You need to literally hit
Smash that
like
subscribe.
button so hard that you break your phone.
You can leave a comment. We wanted to know if you heard the sound or not.
Please comment.
And how old you are, because that's going to also vary. Like, do you have to be under 25? Do you not?
Tell us
know?
how much you hate us, how much you love us, everything in between.
Thank you for watching.
See ya.